Evolve, what would you like to talk about?
Yeah, so I want to know what you don't like about the Republican Party so much that you decide to sit on TikTok and debate random people about it. I mean, it just seems like to me that you let MAGA, quote unquote, live rent free in your head.
Oh, yeah, they do. It's real bad what's happening, and I live in the country that they're currently controlling, and I think what they're doing is really, really terrible. I think that
what's one thing that's so terrible?
The broadest thing, I think, is that encapsulates everything else, is that the president is doing unconstitutional things, and his loyalists in the other branches of the government are supporting those unconstitutional things. That is how democracies fall from the inside because of fascism.
What's one unconstitutional thing that Trump is doing?
He filed an executive order that essentially overturned a component of the 14th Amendment without the approval of Congress.
So you're talking about a birthright citizenship.
That's one example, yes.
Okay, yeah. No. So, are you familiar with what birthright citizenship of like the entire ideology of why that he would want to put said restriction? So basically what happens is people come over here from other countries that are obviously not legal citizens here, right? And then they just have a baby. Now that baby, because they snuck into the country, is just automatically granted citizenship. Well, now we as American citizens...
I understand the concept of an anchor baby.
Let me just finish my point, okay? So we as American citizens and taxpayers now have the burden of putting that child through school, through all their health care, right? We have to burden that. Do you know how much one individual just in school... just in schooling alone cost the American taxpayer?
I don't know, but I would say that you can make the same argument about children who are born to legal residents. What difference does it make?
Well, the difference is those legal residents are legal residents, right? Like they're residents of this country. They're right. Citizens
but the
here.
Constitution says that people who are born here are Americans. What's your problem with that?
So are you saying that the Constitution has never been amended before?
It has been amended. I'm saying.
Oh, perfect. So then were those presidents treasonous or in your
presidents
opinion?
Don't amend the Constitution.
Hold on. So you're saying that the presidents has never enacted literature in which that would have been drafted to change an amendment within the Constitution, sir?
The president can support the.
Yeah, no. Most of the amendments came from the fucking president. Like literally, this is what needs to be. Then it goes through Congress. Like, bro, you have literally no idea.
Trump didn't do that. He filed an executive order.
What do you mean?
If Trump had done that, if Trump had urged his Congress, his controlled, Republican-controlled Congress, to enact an amendment that overturns the 14th, then I would say that what he did was not unconstitutional. I wouldn't like that, but I wouldn't say it's unconstitutional. Instead of doing that, he did something unconstitutional, which is declaring by fiat with an executive order that the 14th Amendment is no longer in effect. That is unconstitutional.
So in order for it to be unconstitutional, it would have to be like now law, right? Like as in like it would have to have been completed. Like just because he had an idea and he put forth literature and propositions or an executive order in which that would enact on his idea, that doesn't mean that he's being unconstitutional. If it was unconstitutional, then he would have been fucking impeached for it, right? Like you're just what you're doing is a straw man. What you're doing is a straw man.
Is not true.
Trying to make it is.
You cannot assert that the president did something.
Smoky man bad. Like that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Smoky man bad because he wanted to change.
I'm going to get this point out. You cannot assert that what the president is doing is constitutional simply because he has not been impeached for it, when he himself has demonstrated that he can do obviously impeachable things and not be impeached. That's part of the problem. That's part of the consolidation of power that's happening in the Republican Party.
What you're speaking of is ludicrous. But like, do you realize that if Donald Trump walked out of his room and farted wrong, the left is like screaming impeachment?
Okay, that's not me. That's not me. That's not the conversation that's happening right now. What we're talking about is that his executive order that overturned the 14th Amendment was unconstitutional.
It didn't overturn. What you're saying is a lie. It did not overturn the 14th Amendment.
It's an unconstitutional executive order. It flagrantly violates the direct
conflicting with, right?
Yes.
And overriding two different things, sir.
Okay. And I'm saying that it is unconstitutional for the president to have an executive order that is in conflict with the Constitution.
Really? Let me ask you this. Does an executive order or the Constitution override? Which one overrides?
The Constitution.
Oh, perfect. So then what you're saying is Donald Trump never one time did anything to override an amendment within the Constitution. He made what he called an executive order that would then propose a change, right?
That is not how the president proposes an amendment.
How do you know that we're not going to go through Congress and change it?
Doing the executive order is not a step in that process. There's no reason for him to do that, and it is unconstitutional for him to do that, because what the president does with an executive order is supposed to immediately become law when he signs it, because the job of the executive branch, one of the things that the executive branch does, part of the role of that branch of government, is to respond to situations quickly, which is why the president has executive authority to do things quickly. The president doesn't need the approval of Congress to launch the nukes, because any situation where we might need the nukes is a situation where Congress is too slow. But what we expect is to have a responsible, constitutionally minded president. We don't. We have a president who is willing to make unconstitutional orders, like the executive order that overturned the 14th Amendment. And you're saying...
what you're saying is wrong. It did not overturn the 14th Amendment. He proposed an executive order that conflicted with the 14th Amendment.
Okay. That's bad.
Obviously,
we disagree about the language. You just said it yourself. He made an executive order that
conflicting and overriding is completely different.
You should not be okay with the president conflicting with the Constitution in their executive orders. That's bad.
Here's the deal. I don't agree with the 14th Amendment being given to people who aren't supposed to be here.
That doesn't matter. You still have to follow the rules. No, you still have to follow the rules of the country. You still have to follow the rules of governance.
So again, if it was not within the rules of him to propose said executive order, right? If it's not within the rules, then the left would have fucking impeached him so fast that he could not have wiped his ass when he woke up.
The left does not have the power to impeach the president.
Y'all been on a witch hunt since day one.
There's no mechanism by which there is no mechanism. You can just keep saying things over and over again, but I'm just going to keep responding to the first thing you said so that the conversation is linear. People don't like listening to people talk the way that you're talking. Slow down and stay on one thing, okay? If you said that the left would impeach him, the left does not have the power to impeach him. The Republicans in Congress have shown that they are willing to vote along party lines regardless of what he does, which is why we don't see very many impeachment efforts against the president, because it's moot when his loyalists will simply just vote for him to stay president, even though he obviously did something impeachable. It happened twice during his first administration.
Yeah, so again, what you're saying doesn't make sense. You're saying that, he proposed an executive order that would have conflicted with...
It wasn't an idea. He signed an executive order. He did it.
Signing an executive order is proposing one into law. Are you familiar with any, it's proposing the fucking order into law?
That's not how executive orders work.
Really? So then how come executive orders are overturned then?
Because Congress has the power to check...
great. So that means it wouldn't be a ratified fucking amendment until when?
No amendment has been proposed.
It approved Congress, right? So Congress said, "Hey,
you don't understand civics. If you think that the president,
I think that you don't understand, sir.
Okay,
you're saying.
And answer me this: Why isn't there an amendment? No, answer the question. Why isn't there an amendment proposed? I'm going to mute you so I can ask my question.
You're saying an executive order
so I can ask my question.
The Constitution.
I'm going to mute you so that I can ask my question. If you unmute yourself, I'm going to boot you and move on so that I can have a conversation with somebody who's willing to actually respond back and forth. I want to know if you say that by his executive order he is proposing an amendment that would overturn the 14th. Why is that not happening? He controls Congress. He controls the Supreme Court, and he obviously controls the executive branch. If you're claiming that he's doing that, why isn't that happening?
How do you know it's not happening, sir?
It's been almost a year since that executive order. You don't fucking know.
You don't. Okay, really? How long does he have left in his presidency?
I'm saying that there is
perfect. So are you? It's almost like a fucking giant.
You didn't let me respond.
Right in the middle of all this shit, right? That's wild, huh?
Answer the question.
It's almost like he has other shit to do right now.
Why isn't Congress pushing for an amendment to the Constitution that overturns?
How do you know they're not, sir? How do you know they're not?
Because what policy is being debated by Congress is publicly known. You can look it up. You are the one asserting that they're trying to overturn the 14th Amendment instead of just obeying the unconstitutional executive order.
How do you know it's not on the list, sir?
The burden is on you because the list is public and it would make the news if Congress.
No, you're speculating. Sir, you're saying that this is not going to happen. No, it's again, bro. I swear to God, you are like literally an idiot. Okay, you don't know what Congress has to do. Sure, you know what they're arguing or fucking concising on at this particular moment or within the next however many months. Hold on, but you don't know. Hold on, but you don't know what is on their list of shit to go through, right? Like you have no fucking idea.
Is Trump saying that? Are any Republican senators saying that?
Hold on, be quiet for a second.
No.
Be quiet,
No.
Be quiet for a second.
The burden of proof is on you to demonstrate that that's the plan. He filed an executive order that was illegal.
Okay, prove that it was unconstitutional, sir. Prove it. How is it unconstitutional?
I can read.
Oh, you don't have fucking proof because it wasn't unconstitutional, sir. You're fucking pulling shit out of your ass. Prove to me right now that it was unconstitutional.
Okay, would you like to look at the language of the executive order?
I would like you to prove to me that it was unconstitutional, sir. Since the burden of proof is on you, right? Let's see your proof.
The burden of proof is on you. You brought the topic up. No, actually, the example was mine, so the burden is on me. Okay, Trump's executive order. on birthright. I forget which number it is. Birthright citizenship. It is which one is it? 14160. So we're going to go look at order 14160, and I'm going to actually bookmark that quick so I can save it for later. And I'll put that on my bookmarks bar, and then I'm going to open that in one tab, and then in the next tab, I'm going to open the Constitution. Let's see.
Bro, that is not proving anything is unconstitutional. Proving that something contradicts or conflicts.
Excuse me, I haven't put it on the screen yet. I'm showing you the language of the law.
Conflicting is not unconstitutional, sir. There's conflictments all within fucking all of our society. Why don't you look at fucking the rights of blacks to vote and the rights for women to vote? Like, obviously shit changes, dude.
Okay, here's the language of the order.
Okay, this doesn't prove anything.
I'm not.
Just so we're clear.
You're just declaring that it doesn't prove anything.
It doesn't prove anything. You haven't shown me any how.
I'm
No, where does this
trying to
say?
show
Where
you
does
the
this
proof,
say
and
Donald
you're
Trump's
refusing.
action and fucking Donald Trump's action in this executive order is against our Constitution? Where does it say that? It's unconstitutional. I don't see that anywhere. I don't see Donald Trump was unconstitutional by. I don't see that fucking anywhere. That's crazy.
Okay. You're not.
I hear your opinion.
You're asking.
I hear your
I'm going to
opinion.
mute you so I can
is-
say that you asked. I'm muting you. Okay. I've muted you so that I can say that you asked for proof, and I am trying to show it to you, and you are not letting me. Why are you not letting me? I will unmute you so that you can answer.
You're not showing me proof. You're just showing me the fucking executive order and the Constitution. Like, that does not show me that it was unconstitutional. Just because there was a confliction does not mean that it's unconstitutional.
Yes,
sir.
it does. That's exactly.
No,
what
it does
conflicting
not,
with the
sir.
Constitution
You're an idiot.
Okay, so let's just try this. Okay, I'm gonna see if you can read. Can we check if you can read? Hold on, let me get my... Where is it? There we go. This little section right here. Can you read this? Are you able to read this on the screen? Oh, okay.
Yeah, man, I know what the 14th Amendment is, buddy.
All right.
Why do you think whenever you said the 14th Amendment, I was able to immediately call it out?
God, why do I keep losing this? Okay, here we go. Can you read this for me?
Dude, again...
Can you read this? Can you read this text?
There is not a single point in this where it shows it was unconstitutional, sir.
I'm asking you to read
Persons
the
born and
language of the
naturalized in the United
Constitution.
States and subject to the what of it? It doesn't fucking mean anything.
Story time. I'm just gonna insist, because this is my show,
Go ahead.
that you read this entire highlighted section out loud, slowly and clearly for everybody who's listening. You're muted. I didn't mute.
Bro, I already told you. I know what the 14th Amendment is. I don't need to fucking
So once
read
again,
up on it.
if you want to stay on my live, I'm going to insist.
Okay, well then kick me off. Then just fucking.
Are you unable to
concede
read?
And kick me. Concede and kick me.
Are you unable to?
Just concede that you can't prove it and kick me.
I'm trying to get you to
Just
read the
concede
proof.
that you can't fucking
I
prove it.
refuse
and
to
kick
concede
me.
that. I'm trying to prove it to you right now. Please read this highlighted section of
Bro,
text
I
from the
read it.
14th
I know what it is.
Read it
What
out
is the
loud
next
for
point?
everybody, or I will move on.
Are
to
you
something
saying
else.
that? Are you saying that your viewers can't read, sir?
I'm saying that you can't read.
Are
Prove
you
everybody wrong
saying
and read
really?
this out
I
loud.
fucking started reading. I read the whole top fucking line.
You made it about halfway through.
You're an
and
idiot.
mumbled.
You're an idiot. Yeah, we know that I can read.
Prove to
right?
everybody that you can read by reading this out loud for everybody.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
The host is such an idiot, he has no clue in how to propose an argument that would prove his point, because there is no fucking evidence in the entire world that proves Donald Trump was unconstitutional by fucking signing an executive order.
Okay, so I'm trying to show you the part of the Constitution that his executive order conflicts with. Would you please read it to everybody to prove that you can read?
We've already established that conflictions does not mean that it's unconstitutional, sir.
All right. I'm going to mute you and just give you one very clear opportunity before I kick you. I would love to continue discussing this with you. I would love to continue discussing this with you. Oh, he left. Okay, he ran away because he can't read. I'm sure he actually can read. He's just unwilling to, because he knows that I'm right, that this section of the Constitution is conflicted by this executive order by Donald Trump, but he was afraid to actually talk about that. He simply just declared that I didn't have evidence, even though the evidence was right in front of his eyes.